Hello YouTube viewers and subscribers. I can't be professional at all. Welcome to Sunday in the Shop. Today we got a treat. We got two different things for shop supplies. Okay, and these came from Amazon. I cannot give you an exact price. Each order probably, the shipping's like $6, so each item probably cost me like 20 bucks. But I got 100 of these, okay? Now, I want to show you this one. Now, I had a choice between like 40 and 60 grit. I think these are 60. 40 looks like hunks of gravel. So does these when you get up close. I want to show you how good this one looks. See how good this one looks? Okay, here's a new one. In fact, I just put them on there and dug them. I had to dump the whole bag out because these are down inside the bag. Here's how big the bag is. Maybe we can jack you up here in the air. Bear with me. This is never a professional day. I'm kind of cramped in here. Okay, so here's the size of the bag. And I will take a picture of the label at the end so you don't even have to pause. Okay, now we've already got it mixed up. Did you see where I put the used one at or not? Yeah, that's the used one. Okay, this is how much I did with that one. So let's get the new ones out of the way. Okay. This is about 3" by 3" metal on each side. Okay. This is going this way and this way. Okay, you see all them shades of dark in there speckled? Right there, see them? That's your pits from your rust. Because this was done with a flapper disc a long time ago, then it laid around. I'm going to show you the edge. See how rust is, you can tell it laid around a lot. Now this side I went ahead and did the crosshatch pattern. You know, this way, then this way, you can tell the difference. Well, I spent a little time. You're never going to have perfect level if you get them out. If you sit there and dig, say, in this spot, you can almost feel it if you were trying to make this flat. I'm not a machinist. I'm not going to make something flat like for a surface grinder, but if you rolled something on here perfectly flat, like round like this, not a drill bit, it'd have to be a piece of rod. Some nice chrome vanadium rod or something like that. You would be able to tell this is pretty flat. Or, you know, just a plain old straight edge. Might as well show you. A plain old straight edge is going to be pretty darn flat for what I do. But I did all this work and the edges, and there's one edge I left a little bit and didn't fit. See them grinder marks where they was cut? You know, let's maybe flip it this way. See where it gets rid of those? Now, the other ones could not do this. Okay? Here's the ones that came in the cheap kits. Let's put on here so my fat fingers ain't in the way. Whatever that grit is. And here's the grit I got, which is more aggressive. I need something more aggressive. These you just dig and they don't do that, and they just wear down. These are pretty good for the price. You gotta figure, you gotta buy a kit for $16, and you end up with, what, maybe a dozen of these? You might get 6 of those cutter discs, which we're gonna go to next. So you just can't keep buying kits to get what you want. You can't do that. I have 4 kits laying around this shop. If you found, I have a box full of Dremel junk that I'll never use. But that came out pretty nice. I want to spend time with this and show you this. How I get metal that shiny with just a little Dremel tool. 3/16 inch thick. So who knows what I can make out of this. This is what I built my first little mini stove out of. Because it's what, 3 inches? Yeah, 3 inches. And then it was 5.5 long. This was the very end of that piece of metal. Okay, enough of that. Let's pause and get everything ready to show you the cutter disc. Okay, here's my cutter disc. I would recommend try to find this brand. I found a brand that was free shipping, came from the company. I go to check out, I can't get it till probably December 24th. This brand is shipped by Amazon. I had it in 5 days. Both these items I had in like 4 to 5 days. 100 piece, you get the two arbors, or the mandrel, they call it a mandrel. So I will have a picture of that too. These, I want to show you the difference. When you buy those kits, you get like a 1 1/4 inch and big black disc, not the little ones in a little round bottle now. You know, if you get that kit with the big 1 1/4 inch black ones, okay? I looked up several that said 1 1/4. You start looking at the pictures in the ad and you see them little round bottles. Well, I didn't trust them. I went with 1 1/2 inch. So these are 1 1/2 inch. So that's going to give me 1/8 of an inch on either side. Well, I want to show you what I've been using. I can't tell you all what I cut with it. We'll stack it on top. Boy, there ain't much wore off there, is there? Now, do this at your own risk. I wear goggles. I've been going like this on metal to kind of smooth it off and on edges. And you can tell it on the disc. Let's get it up close. See how it's worn compared to a new one? See you wear it out here like that, and even back into here a ways. Because I might have been off. See, I might have been on a piece of metal where don't hit your screw on it, whatever you do. That could cause things for the screws to come loose, to chewing it up. So I was going like this to smooth on some metal. Going in that far. These are really good. I would recommend this. We're going to break one of these, okay? Just for science. We're gonna see how tough these are, because I know them other ones like getting a potato chip. You know you break the little ones, you take the big ones, but no, don't be fooled. You get one of them cheap ones to do it. Now, I flexed this a little bit the other day, okay? I'm getting old. I don't have the strength in my hands, my thumbs I used to. So you're gonna have to try to imagine how hard am I pressing this. Watch my hand. Did you hear it? It finally broke. Well, that was pretty good. I wanted to break one and just see what they're like. Of course, this is gonna be a lot easier. But that took a little bit to break it. You'd have to really get it in a bind. So I'm very pleased with these. I have not broken one of the other ones. I wore them down. I can show you in my case. I wore them down to where they're like really small. I'll stack them together and make like a little grinder wheel out of it. I don't know if I have any in here. Sure I do. I wore the other ones down that came out of the other kits. The 1 1/4. And see, the weave is even smaller. These are the 1 1/4, the size of that washer that comes in those kits. Because I am out. The weave is even smaller. But when these wear down, save them. If you stack these together, you've all heard me talk about it over and over. You start stacking these together, the same as them real thin ones that come in like these bottles. They're really great for grinding down welds and stuff. These, you just put two together. Even if they're not the same size, they're tough. And you can cut a lot of weld off. I'll slice that right through the weld, when they're globby. I'll make slices, and then I'll go back and grind through it. So you're putting pressure like this. So you want two of them. So these will be wore down to nothing before I throw them away. In fact, I saved some that are really small. I said, we can do this because it's Sunday in the shop. See, I say some that small. I'll stack them together because I wore them down. that's the really thin ones that come in the bottle. I'll save these even when they get this small, because there might be something small you might be working on. Here's my latest invention. You ever spin these stones out? I spun a white one out. It really ticked me off. Because you get ready to work, right? I haven't spun this stone out, and I purposely just keep abusing it. And this is an old mandrel. I stuck a piece of this on there, right? And tightened it down, and I have not slipped this stone on here. So I wanted to pass that on. Because this stone was almost, it was like a brand new stone. You know how big they are. But here's the one I slipped. I've never tried a white one. But see where it spun? Here's your red washer stain. It spun on me. Just, you know, it's like, oh. Because no matter how hard you tighten the screw, if they make the hole a little bit too big in these, that's why they spin. The hole's actually too big. So there's a trick. Put these on there for a backing plate. Heck, I wouldn't put one out here because you don't get much of a screw. So there's your tip of the day. If you have trouble with these spinning out on you, and you've got everybody that does like I do, has got kits and kits and a bunch of these laying around. They're green, pink, and white. And I can't even tell you what grit they are. But while we talk about it, we're going to move on to it because we're done with this. Like I said, I wanted to break with these right on camera just to see what it was like. You'd have to really get carried away to break it. Let's put this back in here. Go over to my kit right here. These are so big, I cannot close the lid on the box. When I had brand new and the other ones, I could close this lid. I can't close the lid with those in there. So that's how much bigger they are. Top off an ink pen to give you a little more grip on your wrench. I kept losing it because it's gray. I kept losing it and all the junk and everything. So I took some white first aid tape. Well, I can see it better now. You know, if it's laying over anywhere. But this is a box that came with my rotary tool. I have a smaller size than this, but I've tried them on stuff. They ain't worth even hooking up. They're really small. Unless you're doing like jewelry or something, in my work, they're not worth it. Here's your little famous Scotch-Brite pads. Here, get my fat fingers out of the way. Here's two of these. When these arbors get down where the screws start slipping and they're really not that good anymore, the junk ones, they end up being used for stuff like this because you can run the screw in a lot further than some of the thicker stones and stuff. So these were kind of junky mandrels I used. Like I got my diamond bits over in here. I don't even know why these are in here because there's only very few of them thin cutter blades left. But I do stack them together and use them. So that is what. These are leftover pieces when I made my little disc. I think I showed that before. Even that small you can use them. You cut the circles out of the piece. Let's see, here's a new green one. I lost the mandrel for these. I had some of these that were lick 'em, stick 'em. You peel the adhesive off. I lost them and the plastic thing. I think they're in another tub, but these are for cleaning stones. Oh, another invention I tried. The cheap diamond. I tried putting two of these together to see if I might be able to cut into some metal better. No. But they did work good for kind of polishing these diamond wheels. These are best for cutting pop cans. If you get, it's hard to get the cut in the pop can, but these are better for cutting pop cans because you use these little thin ones, they'll bust on you and fly all over because they snag. So if you want to cut a pop can or a tin can open, try to get a slot with just, a single one. These are doubled, I think you can tell. It's 2 of them. I don't know if that's a new one or not. I just know I got some fine ones that came with the other kit, and you just never got anything done with them. They're just too fine. These I have no luck with no matter what size they are. These do not do very much at all. Even the big ones, they just don't do a lot. You can polish some metal with them. I keep one of these just if I want to do some real quick polishing, like say I worked on a pair of my vice grips or a tool or a wrench. I just want to put a shine back to it where I worked on it. Like when I welded them wrenches together. Just take a little bit of compound and keep one of them in there. A brass brush, a stainless brush. I bought some stainless brushes. I don't know if I ever showed them from my favorite Harbor Freight store. Of course, everybody knows these. They either fall apart or don't, because I got a bunch of them over in here. The ones where the stones are glued on. I have pretty good luck if you don't abuse them. Just some junk that's stored over in here. Just to show you what my daily Dremel kit's like. I don't know what this slip of paper is. I have no idea why that's in there. But here's what happens to these when you get totally abusing it. Can you see how it's worn down? Just abusing it, it's never going to hold again. These can be repurposed for, if I can get it out. We're just killing too much time, aren't we? These can be repurposed for something else. Really not a mandrel for a cutter wheel, but in a bind. Because that screw's barely in there. Because it is not a big enough screw for that. They can in a pinch be repurposed for these cutter blades. Even though it ain't the same diameter. So I wouldn't recommend unless you absolutely had to, because you're probably going to spin it out. But maybe something like these little diamond wheels. But no, don't throw them away when the rubber part's shot, because you might lose that washer someday. In fact, when I got the new ones, one of these was apart. We don't care how it goes together. Oh, and if you notice on these, there's a washer on either side. Let's look at another one in here. Let's go back and find it. Let's look at that. Yeah, there's a washer on either side. That's how you squeeze the rubber. Okay, let's pause. We've already got 13 minutes into this, and we'll think of something else before we go today. But I want to spend some little time on what Dremel stuff I'm using. People always ask me what I weld with, MIG with gas. When I do my stoves, I always have somebody ask me that. Even if I say it, I know you're not going to watch every second of the video when I say what I weld with. But let's put this up and let's talk about something else after I take a break. Okay, we're going to do a live cutting test with these. So bear with me. I may have to stop if I'm not in the right position. I am cramped in here where I work. You can almost not get a tripod in here. Will that work? I thought I was ready. 'Cause I don't want to bump the tripod. Here, let's go for this. Let's tighten this down. I wear a glove because I want to keep this hand clean. I have my goggles on. I'm not going to wear my earmuffs, which I usually do. This is 3/16. We're going to make a line across here. We're going to do some abusive cutting with this thing. You should never use them to cut metal this thick. But here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready. Better to drive through it than back up, because it's spinning this way. this way's harder. I'd rather drive through it. This way is harder. It's easier to go this way. Be careful, you get over the edge like this thing will grab and flip on you. It'll do that. So be careful. If you're just a beginner in the dremel, it's okay to cut like this. Don't get out of that thing like this and go. It'll jump up and got two hands on here now. If we're gonna get really abusive, so hang on, here we go. We're gonna get carried away like people do. Almost stalling it on a flex shaft. Flip on you. You'll jump on the here, you can cut over here to get it cut through. See, it still does it. Better off, take your time. Cut through it this way, little by little. Try to chop off through it. All that chatter is this junky cable. Can you hear me over the grinder? I got plenty of them videos, don't I? Can you hear me over the tool? About a half inch through this. One more. Starting to bite. Starting to shake. Never do what I'm doing. It's dangerous. And all smooth like this, you should never do this. This is not a DA sander where you should never do that stuff, but I do it. Broke the tripod. Had enough of that. Shut this off for a second. Okay, how much did we wear down? Now, I told you I used it. I think I showed you there was just a little bit gone. Here's a new one. 1.5 inches. See that 1/2 inch mark right there on the me SSME, then 4. There's 1.5 inches. This is about 1 3/8 inches. I don't know. I wore off less than 1/8 on either side, but it ain't bad for doing that much abuse. Of course, the piece I cut fell on the floor, but that wasn't too bad cutting through that. You should never cut thick steel like that. I just wanted to show you live on film 3/16" steel. So there you go. I think it's a long enough video for today. Thanks for watching. And look for all the pictures I put in the end. I'll even take a picture of this so you can see kind of before and after the wheel. The diameter. So see you next week.